Yes, squat and bench every day, starting December 31st, 2021, for as long as I can. The program I'm doing is called the Bulgarian Method for Powerlifting, and the specific guide that I'm using is the Bulgarian Manual, written by Greg Nuckols and Omar Yusov, which can be found on strongerbyscience.com for free. So the agenda of this video is I will briefly introduce the program and then talk about how I am doing it, and then talk about how this day went, my first day of this program, and then I will talk about the spreadsheet that I made for this program. So from what I understand, this program is definitely not the program that the Olympic lifters back in the day in Bulgaria did. They lifted multiple times a day, every day, right? And they will often go off program, I think. So this is also more geared towards powerlifters. One important part of the manual that I want to point out is the habituation of the stress response, where any stress that you're exposed to, the more times you're exposed to it, the less stressful it becomes. If you refer to page 19 of the Bulgarian manual, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a diagram for it. But basically, intuitively, you might think squatting and benching every day is counterintuitive. But because of the low volume of each day and the auto regulation of the program on each day, this might work better for you than you think. Now, the main program is based on the concepts of daily minimum and daily maximum. The daily minimum is a weight that you can smoke no matter what day it is, even on your worst day. And the manual suggests about 80% of your true max, which will increase over time. And the daily max is the weight you can hit with no psychological arousal and no form aberrations. In other words, you're not supposed to rely on caffeine or loud music to hit that daily max with no problems. Now let's pivot to the part of the program that I'm doing, which is called the Superman effect, which is on page 47 of the manual. In this variation, the main factor is the exercise selection, where you don't have to just do, for example, low bar squat and competition pause bench, but you can do low bar pause squat, high bar pause squat, front squats, etc. And then for bench, you can do competition pause bench, touch and go bench, close grip, etc. And instead of focusing on a 1 rep max, you can do up to a 10 rep max based on the different variations of the lift depending on the day. Now you're able to hit PRs more often, and lifting can be more fun again. I think the concepts of daily min, daily max, daily volume, and weekly volume are not specifically laid out in this variation, but I've implemented it in a way in my program through my spreadsheet. I think no matter how you approach the Bulgarian method, managing your weekly volume is very important. Having a good idea of your weekly volume can allow you to increase the volume if you're stalling for a couple weeks, and you can decrease the volume if you feel like you're doing too much and you're not recovering enough. So now let's talk about how my first day went. Because I'm squatting every day, one aspect that I really like is I don't have to be too worried about whether or not I hit a certain number. As long as I hit a daily minimum, which I still try to implement right now for my 1 rep maxes, and I really like being able to experiment with the amount of warm-up sets I do, and then experiment with my technique because I'm squatting so much and benching so much. And here's me doing my daily max of 355. That felt pretty good to me, especially because I just deadlifted heavy 2 days ago and my left knee and my left hip was feeling a bit wonky. I think one thing that helped was doing a few more warm-up sets, which I usually don't do as many when I squat because I'm worried about actually fatiguing my body. But because I'm squatting every day now, I can experiment with that, right? And for a daily min, I think 315 is a good number because it's around 80% of my 1 rep max, and it's a weight that I can definitely do no matter what day it is, no matter how I feel for 1 rep. For my squats, I am not going to do any back off sets just yet after my daily max or my rep max attempt, because between my daily min and my daily max, that's already around 2 to 3 sets, plus I'm doing that 7 days a week. In my previous programs, I've done squats anywhere from the 8 set to the 18 set range, where when I did fewer sets there were more reps. But because I'm squatting more frequently, I think how much I'm doing now would be okay, and I'll see to add volume if I need it. But for bench press, I am used to more volume. My bench press responds better with more volume compared to the squat. And in my previous programs, I've done bench sets anywhere from like 15 sets to 25 sets, around the 3 to 8 rep range. So I'm going to do about 1 to 3 back off sets for bench every day. That's about 80 to 90% of that rep max attempt. So this is my daily min of 240 pounds. Went pretty well. So I went for my next weight, which was 260, which was my daily max. This went pretty well, knowing that competition pause bench hasn't been my main bench lift until recently, and I haven't tried pausing a weight like this since 4 months ago at my first powerlifting meet. So here, after the couple back off sets I did for my bench, I did some chin-ups, and the entire workout took about an hour. So the core, squat, and bench took about 55 minutes. So everything went pretty well for a first day, and I'm very happy. I'm more interested in how I will feel and how this program is going to work 2 weeks in or a month in. So we'll see then. Now, last but not least, I will walk y'all through my spreadsheet that I made to track progress in this program. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that I made in about 30 minutes to track the progress I'll be making in this program. So I have 3 sheets. I have PRs, squat data, and bench data. So on the left here, I have the different variations of lifts: low bar, high bar, front squat, bench press, deadlift, sumo deadlift, and overhead press. And I have here 1 rep max to 10 rep max and all the previous rep maxes that I've done, the different PRs I've done. And the goal of this program, more specifically the Superman effect, is to get more PRs and to fill these cells in and to make more progress that way and to keep lifting more fun, right? And then on the right is I have the different days laid out on which squat and bench variations I want to do. I want to keep it consistent to be able to track progress easier. And below that, I have some notes, wanting to deadlift once or twice a week, up to an 85% single. Trying to do some hip thrusts and barbells a couple times max to keep the PRs under 8 RPE, to keep the volume manageable and to keep the fatigue manageable, right? I don't want to overwork one day and have that fatigue carry over too many days. And do some chin-ups and pull-ups throughout the week. Now let's talk about the second and third sheets. So in the sheet squat data, here's where things get more interesting. So I have the days laid out by date, which I'm doing every day starting from the last day of 2021. And the exercise I'm doing, as you can see, I'm doing the same 7 exercises at least I plan to every week, every 7 days. And I have 3 weeks laid out so far. So here I did a daily min, as you can see earlier, as you saw earlier, 315 and 355 daily max for 1 rep at an RPE of 7.5. And I did not do any back off sets, right? So here's where it gets interesting, where I have the total daily working volume and the daily volume weekly rolling average. So here I've calculated using a formula the daily min plus the daily max, including the number of reps, plus the number of back off sets multiplied by the weight and the number of reps. And I added manually the set that I did in between the daily min and daily max, which was 335 pounds for 1, right? If I did 2 reps, it would have been 335 times 2, which would have been 670, right? And that's why I have a total daily working volume of 1,005. I'm trying to keep it as accurate as possible to keep progress tracking more accurate. And then on the right, I have daily volume weekly rolling average. So basically, if I start doing more days, so let's say for high bar, my daily minimum was 285, and my daily max was a 315, right? For one, and RP was, let's say, 7, right? This column doesn't really matter in terms of changing the data here, and I didn't do any back offsets, right? But let's say I did a set of 300 pounds for one here. So I will add that here plus 300. And that will show that I did 900 pounds of volume. And I know that it is a different lift, high bar versus low bar. But as long as I do the same lifts every week, I think I will still be able to see the difference in working volume daily and weekly, right? And I can look at how much volume I did for high bar each week, right? And to see the differences and to see where I can do less volume and where I can do more volume. So this is how it works for squats. Let me delete this because I haven't done this day yet. Now for bench data, it's the same thing, right? So I did daily min of 240 with no set in between and daily max of 260 for one RP9. And I did 2 back offsets, 230 for 3 reps each, RP8. So the total daily volume is 1880, right? So let's say for close grip pause next week, tomorrow, I am going to do a daily min of 215. I'm just guessing here, right? And a daily max of 235. For one RP, let's say 7, and then 2 back offsets at 210 for 3 and RP 7, right? See, now it shows that my volume is 1710. So this is how I'm going to be tracking my volume for squat and bench. I'm not going to track my volume and track my lifts like this for my deadlift and my overhead press because I'm not going to do overhead press for the most part, and I'm going to deadlift, but it's going to be more on the back burner, and I'm going to just maybe write it down on the notes section here because squat and bench press are the two focuses of this program. I won't deadlift more than I need to, and I won't deadlift so it affects the recovery and progress of my squat and my bench press, right? And I think squatting this much at this level of volume and frequency will help my deadlift and maintain it at least, if not make it stronger. Okay, so some final thoughts. So my goal with this series, which I'll be making every day for every one of my workouts, is to inspire other lifters and to educate them with my documentation of my lifts and my lifting journey for the Bulgarian method for powerlifting, right? I want to document how my high intensity and my high frequency lifts will work and how it affects me as a natural intermediate lifter, right? My goal is to not only improve myself, but also to help other people and have that out on the internet and the public to help you improve. So I will be making most of my videos with commentary, talking about a bit of my personal life, about who I am, and about my lifting experience, my lifting journey, and how my lifts were on that certain day, right? Unfortunately, some of my videos will not have commentary because I will be busy with work, but I will make sure to have one video up every day. I will try to not miss any videos. So, anyways, thank y'all for watching. Really appreciate this. And Happy New Year. So, here's to squatting and benching every day. Peace out.